So there was a moment in human history when there was no death, no suffering, no fear, no disease, no war, no grief, and no shame. If you love the Bible, just click follow. When we left the story, God had just finished creation. The heavens and the earth were complete. The seas were full of life. The animals filled the land, and mankind had been created in the image of God. But Genesis now slows down and takes us back for a closer look at something extraordinary. God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, his ruach in Hebrew. Think about that for a moment. Everything else in creation came into existence because God spoke. Light, oceans, mountains, and stars. But when God created man, Scripture describes something more personal. God formed him from the dust of the earth and breathed life into him. And then God planted a garden east of Eden. And this wasn't wilderness or survival. This was provision. Genesis tells us that every tree was pleasant at the sight, and good food grew on them. And in the middle, there were two special trees, the tree of life and the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed out of Eden. It watered the garden, and everything Adam had ever been provided was provided for him. And notice something important here. Work existed before sin. Many think that work is part of the curse, but Adam had responsibility before sin even entered the world. The difference is that his work wasn't painful. It was part of God's good creation. And then God gave Adam a command. Eat from every tree in the garden except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. This is the first command given to mankind, and Adam understood it. And then God said something remarkable. It is not good that a man should be alone. This is the first time in creation that God says something isn't quite right. Adam was surrounded by life, yet there was no one like him. God brought the animals before Adam. Adam gave them names, but among them there wasn't really a helper for Adam. And then God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And from Adam's side, God made woman. And when Adam saw her, Scripture records the first word spoken by a human. This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. And for the first time, humanity was complete. The man, the woman, the garden, creation was exactly as God intended it to be. Genesis tells us that they were both naked, the man and his wife. They weren't ashamed. No guilt, no fear, no hiding, no broken relationships, and most importantly, no separation from God. Everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be. But that perfect world was about to face its first test. And next time, well, we know a serpent enters the garden.